All right, we're back with day 3 of the magnetic memory method Chinese phrase challenge, and this is one of my favorites, which is 你做什么gōng suo. And I've always liked gōng suo. I remember when I first memorized that word, and it's just an incredible memory. So if you'd like to see more about my mnemonics on our 3rd day of this challenge, then that's coming right up. So before we get started, a little reminder of our mission. That is that we are going to share my mnemonics for Chinese phrases with you. We're going to have the why and the how these images work, and we're going to talk about inspiring your imagination and your memory. And also, I want to win you as a lifetime subscriber to this channel. So please hit that subscribe button and the like button if you haven't already, because that really helps me continue helping you and putting out content like this. Now, just to review what we did last time, if you haven't seen video 2 in the challenge, then you're definitely going to want to check this one out, because we have the Karate Kid Ni Xing Shenma, right? And if you don't know what that is, then you're definitely going to want to go and check out number 2 so that you can get that into your memory as we learn Chinese together. Now remember, I'm always improving my pronunciation, and so one of the ways that I do it is to make sure that I'm also speaking with native speakers, and it's just muscle memory. It's very different, but isn't it exciting to be able to just make some simple pictures in your mind that enable you to remember the basics so that you actually have something to get into muscle memory? That's what this is all about. This is what the thinking behind this is a strategy for rapidly just getting the sounds and the meanings into our minds, so that we are able to practice muscle memory and practice pronunciation. Because for me, that's the biggest challenge, and I just can't do it if I don't have it in my memory, and really nobody can. So that's what we're here for. And here, what I'm thinking of is that, well, this means, what is your job? If we look at the pinyin here, we can see what the tones are and really work on getting them into memory as well. And there's a simple trick for that, actually. But we can see that the closest translation is you do what job, right? And so to help us remember that, I've got the Karate Kid in my mind, and you might have something else in your mind, but I've got the Karate Kid raising his knee, and that just reminds me that his knee. Now you're going to get to a point where you'll just know that you is knee, right? But I like to go through it every time because we're working on whole phrases here, right? And then there's like a zoo sign, and that zoo sign is actually wrapped in, German comes to mind here, Stacheldraht, which is barbed wire. And it's so much fun to just see that, and his knee is just kind of like the action. And incidentally, I should point out that his job is being the Karate Kid, and I have that in mind here to help me remember the meaning of this phrase. And as you know, Shania Twain is always an indicator of Shenma, because that Ma character is a representation of a horse, and then gōng is one of those rare cases where you have a one-to-one correspondence in your practice with the art of memory. If you want to use that image, you might have something else that comes to mind, like Gone Girl might come to mind, and that's not a one-to-one correspondence, but it might work for you. And so that's just an option. Never feel that you have to be locked into the mnemonic examples that someone else gives you. Allow yourself to explore. And you know what? There's a principle in the magnetic memory method called magnetic compounding. And if you're really having trouble with like Gone Girl or Gong, well, you could have Gone Girl smashing a gong, and that's her job, or she's doing it where she works. And if you know that movie or you know that novel, then you know that that character has a specific, well, it's not really a job, but it's a calling that she does. And so you could have that set up in a particular way so that you have everything integrated to help you remember the meaning, because it's the sound and the meaning that you want to bring together with all these images. So this is really what it's all about. And so to just continue what this image is all about, the zoo sign is repeated here, and the horse is kind of like hitting the gong with its tail, and then that is smashing into a second zoo sign. And so that helps remember this sort of sound thing. And so what we are looking for is a display in our mind, really like dominoes tipping over. So 你做什么工作？做 and you'll find, and it just happened there, and I'm doing these videos unedited because you'll find that you will make those pronunciation errors. And what I was thinking of is way back in day one, all of a sudden came to mind this baby, which reminds me of the ts sound, which is what came out there. And if you know the Magnetic Memory Method podcast, then you've obviously gone through the episode on overcoming the ugly sister effect. And that's an interesting thing, that sometimes the wrong things will come. And the thing to do, right, is just to be relaxed, because mistakes are going to happen. Even native speakers make pronunciation mistakes. They make little ugly sister effects, so to speak, and I won't get into that just at this moment. But if you're interested in the ugly sister effect, one of the best things that you can do for your memory is actually know the name of some of these memory issues and problems that you face, because then you are much less stressed out about them. Now, if you'd like to actually hear this phrase and many others spoken by native Chinese speakers, then I'd like to invite you to something special, which is the Mandarin HQ Real Spoken Chinese Vault. It's amazing, and you'll see that you can start at a beginner level, and what you're going to get is actually 6 different triggers that you can fire off whenever you like, and it's pretty exciting. It looks like this, and you'll be able to hit the question, which in this case is, what is your job? And you can go through it 6 times from 6 different speakers, and they'll have different regional accents, which is reality, right? And then you can have the answers, and you get a whole bunch of more vocabulary that you can work on and create little images for. Again, hearing different people from different parts of China, which is exactly what's going to happen when you actually go to China, so that you're much better prepared than any other program out there will ever give to you. And this is so exciting, and I love it. I go through this and use these techniques to remember the sound and the meaning of these phrases. And my next project after that is going to be to go and actually look at these characters. And there is a technique that I'm using that I'll tell you about in a second to help with the tones, so that you get the actual tones that you're supposed to be using in there. Now, of course, you want to be having a native speaker, but this is such a great investment because it not only has beginner, but it also has elementary. And again, it's always Q&A, right? So you get 6 variations of the question, and you get 6 variations of the answer. And by variation, I don't mean that they are wildly different. Sometimes there's slightly different words, but usually the variations are actually just in the accent that you'll hear. And then the answers are often very different, because people will say, you know, what age they are, or what the date is, or whatever is relevant to the question. So you get really just an amazing amount of real spoken Chinese. It's exactly what it says. It's a vault of real spoken Chinese, and it's so exciting. And then once you go through that, you can see I've skipped ahead a little bit, but I went to intermediate, and I'm just loving it so much. But what I decided to do is go through very diligently and go through, and it helps track your progress. My progress is tracked to a certain extent, but actually my green bar should be longer. But right now I've just gone ahead and I'm not taking all the quizzes, because you also get quizzes. But if I was taking all the quizzes for each of the ones that I've done, then you would see that my green bar should be a little bit, or would be longer if I was doing the quizzes. And I find the quizzes very, very useful, but I get so excited about doing these images and actually being able to remember them. So that's why I've skipped ahead a little bit. But definitely do all the quizzes, because that's good for your memory. Gives you more exposure, and it's a lot of fun. Now, if you want to get this and get some bonuses, then please use the link magneticmemorymethod.com/YT Chinese. I've been getting some interesting questions about it, and basically, the biggest benefits here are just lined out on that page, and that you're not getting a textbook, which gives you just this very limited set of ways of expressing in perfect grammar some Chinese that you probably will never use. What you're getting is actual questions that you will want to use, like asking people what their job is. That's a real question you might want to ask. And you get many ways to express the same thing. Well, many is not the best way of expressing it. You get 6 each time. And those ways will have regional accents, or they'll have slight variations. So you're prepared when you're actually engaging in real Chinese to still be able to understand, because you've had this exposure. And you get to hear people how they speak. And just like I'm talking about the ugly sister effect, where sometimes the word you're looking for is not there and something else comes in its place, well, you'll see this, and it's really great, and it's natural speed. It's not this corporate, unnaturally slow thing that you get on all the recordings. It's just natural. It's really, really great. And these are not actors. These are real people. And they are expressing, just like it says here, their real opinions, their real feelings. It's so exciting. And for people who use this link, magneticmemory.com/YT Chinese, you're going to be granted access into my Chinese secret Facebook group. And you'll see here that it is very secret. And one of the cool things about it is that you can search what's been entered into it, and you can find. So if you're on day 3 and you want to find my day 3 contribution and join in the discussion of day 3, well, you can search it and it should show up. And I've tested it and it seems to work, but you can always just scroll down as well in case that whatever is going on in the world of the internet doesn't work. So, you'll find it day 3. It's pretty well labeled there, and I just would love to interact with you there. You're also going to get how to use the Real Spoken Chinese Vault with the magnetic memory method. So you already have an example of how to create some images. You can try working with my images. I highly recommend that you just get adept and adroit with using your own, but you can certainly continue to pattern your progress off of what I've done. And, I'm more than happy for you to give it a try with those. But the point is that you find things that are meaningful for you. But what I can really help you with is creating memory palaces and making sure that you know how to place this image and these images in strategic locations so you can revisit them and then get them into long-term memory. And then I'm going to share with you the tone control method that I'm using myself. Now, I'll be straight up with you. None of this stuff is bulletproof. It's not magic bullets. It's just a way, if you like using your imagination, if you want to use your memory and you want memory exercise that's going to keep your brain fit for the rest of your life, these are techniques and tools that you can use. And it's kind of like a little system that you need to build for yourself. It's very, very easy. And then what you do is, if you liked and you enjoyed and you're really excited about making images like this in your mind, well, what you do is you add a second layer of imagery that lets you easily and quickly remember what the tones were in that sentence. And it just takes a little bit of setup. And once you've got it and you start practicing it, you'll have it for life. And I'll teach you how to use it to remember just about any number in the world. It's very, very fun. Then, of course, you want to be using all the tools of language learning. And so I've got a program for you called the Ultimate Language Learning Secret. You'll get the second edition PDF of the book, and you'll get the video course, The Ultimate Language Learning Secret. It's really just my gift for you for giving the Real Spoken Chinese Vault a try. And then I'm also going to give you Memorized Chinese Poetry. It's a really quick little tutorial. Well, it goes into depth, but it's still pretty quick, and it's going to rely upon you having access to this. So there's no point in taking that if you aren't really well versed in this method of placing imagery in a location and then understanding how to use all of the different elements of your memory in order to get this material into long-term memory, so that you can just go and meet people and ask people questions and actually have them understand you. So that's a great benefit. And so if you'd like to be able to do that, then that is a way for you to do it. And well, look, if you're interested in making that deal with me, then I'm interested in making it with you. So go to magneticmemorymethod.com/YT Chinese, get yourself registered up for the Real Spoken Chinese Vault, and we'll see you with the most amazing set of resources so that you can not only have access to real spoken Chinese, but also a memory technique that goes above and beyond any other out there to show you how to make simple images like this and understand the sound and the meaning as quickly as possible and get it into long-term memory so that you're able to actually get out there and start speaking. Because when you're not speaking, and then you're basically locked inside the forbidden city of just monolingualism. You don't have another language, or you don't have Chinese. If you are already a polyglot and you're struggling with Chinese because you've been hypnotized into thinking it's the most difficult language in the world, it really isn't, then let's make a deal and go over to magneticmemorymethod.com/YT Chinese. Let me unlock these bonuses for you, and let's get together. Let's make something happen. Let's have fun using our memory. It's so healthy for you, and it really does push the needle in terms of really reducing the the time that you have to spend on learning these phrases and getting them into long-term memory, it makes it so much more fun, and you get to have an amazing resource access to Chinese speakers that you can just have them repeat what you want to say, what you want them to say, what you're learning, what you need them to say, so you can study the fine details and even have discussions inside of the Chinese vault in terms of getting any questions that you have about pronunciation, or how that these techniques, or rather how these phrases are part of the culture. And just Angel, who runs Mandarin HQ, is just an amazing resource, and that's a great way to unlock being able to be in contact with her as well. And you'll see that I participate within that area as well. And it's just a lot of fun. So let's learn Chinese together. magneticmemorymethod.com/YT Chinese. Thanks for watching this video. I really, really appreciate you being here, and I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it for you. And we'll see you on the next video, our day 4, which this one's pretty cool. If you're interested in this one, well, then I'll be looking forward to meeting you there. So until we speak again, thanks for watching, and keep yourself magnetic.